Hello everybody, this is Starman and welcome back to Let's Play Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. As you remember, last time we found the labyrinth under what was the Kingdom of Minos on Crete and discovered that it was in fact the legendary greater colony of Atlantis. And we pointed the way to Atlantis before getting left behind by the Nazis who kidnapped Sophia. And it sounds like something has glitched with the music. It's now playing the bass line rather than the theme we got before, but it won't matter because we're going to head to that U-boat, kick some Nazi butt, and make our way to Atlantis. And the music should reset itself once we change screens. Or shut down completely. That's good too. Anyway, go to the hatch. And down the hatch.
Halt!
Uh-oh.
I'm the captain here, and I don't tolerate stowaways.
Are you a sub-captain or merely subhuman?
Defend yourself, Amerikanischer Schwein.
Looks like I'm captain now. Whoa, we're getting underway.
If you say the line about run away, you'll just run away behind the
Let's hope we're headed for
sub,
Atlantis.
and Indy will just punch him out without you having to do the fight. But if you relish a bit of combat, that's the way to go too. Anyway, here we are, under the sea. And you can enjoy this picturesque view for a while, but the minute you mouse click, we'll be back inside the sub.
It says Flugelduffel. Wonderful. It snapped right off.
I am 90% sure that that's not actual German terminology. And here's another fun thing. You thought it was convenient that the sub-captain just happened to speak English? Well, check this out. Yeah, nobody will question the fact that the captain suddenly has an American accent and is speaking in English. And there's no chance that the lead bad guys will recognize Indy's voice. But we have a couple of options here. I go with this one just because it sounds like Han Solo in the first Star Wars movie. We're fine, everything's fine. How are you doing?
Your captain commands all hands to the bow.
Now you have to get them all to go one direction or the other, otherwise you're going to wind up having a bunch of Nazis running around the midship. And we don't want that because, well, look at them, they're all dead butch. And there's a couple of extra rooms here. There's a closet. But that won't come into play here. I believe they do come into play in the wits mode. And we have Sophia down there with one guard attending her. Nothing useful in the lockers, unfortunately.
I'll bet it's hard as a rock.
But we do have
I'll take a couple of slices. They've just about got themselves a delicatessen here.
a small galley area.
What is this stuff? Pumpernickel? Don't mind if I do. I've got slices of bratwurst, bologna, and salami.
And we can use those together.
It's a sandwich worthy of Dagwood Bumstead.
And I also picked up a porcelain mug.
It's a porcelain beer stein.
Sadly, there is no beer. And unlike the previous indie game, we are not going to have to get any guards drunk.
It's labeled Ausgeschnitzel.
So we go randomly messing around with that. Now we have a speed lever.
It's labeled Krausgefarben.
And as we putter around down here, eventually we will see, yep, airlock. And this does change each time you play the game, so it becomes a little more difficult to find where the airlock is and figure out how you're supposed to steer it there. And we do have missile launch, which we do not get to use this time around. And we got...
One of the batteries is leaking. That stuff looks pretty corrosive. Okay, the mug is full of acid.
Lips are sealed.
And got a vent
Thumb
here.
screws.
Sophia?
Indy?
Jones can't save you now, madam.
Wait. I'm getting a message. A message from Nurab Sal,
Nurab what?
an old friend from Atlantis. His spirit is calling me.
Tell Nurab Sal that I've got a plan.
Nurab Sal is listening.
What does Nurab Sal suggest?
Nurab Sal is confused.
Let's try another plan.
Nurab Sal is listening.
Just distract the guard for a while, okay?
Nurab Sal understands all. Wait. What? Oh, darn. I've lost contact.
Too bad.
Okay, well that will keep the guard distracted, otherwise he will turn around if he hears us coming. Thankfully, once we warn
Excuse
Sophia,
me,
we're up
Mr. Guard
to...
person?
What is it now?
I was just...
Who knows? It might come in handy.
Oh, it's probably...
I order you to finish your sentence.
Well, you know...
Who are you? Talk fast, and I'd better like your tone of voice.
And I
or
can't
you're
push
a
the
dead
guard,
man.
unfortunately. But we get a couple of options here, including the classic I'm selling these fine leather jackets. But let's go with the one with the best pun.
Did Madam foretell that your future looks pale?
No, now that you mention it.
Indy!
Nice work. Any idea where Kerner put the stones?
We're out of luck. He's got them in his quarters.
We'll see about that. I'm going to look around.
Okay.
It's a padlocked wheel of some sort.
Yeah, so we can't do anything with that yet.
Aren't you coming?
I'll just stay here and make sure Sleeping Beauty doesn't wake up.
But now that we have that plunger, we can fix that handy lever that we broke earlier.
It fits.
And we now have a handy control for controlling the sub's depth.
Try to relax, Herr Doctor. Relax? We are approaching a civilization that played with the forces of nature the way we play with toys. Come now, don't exaggerate. How else do you explain the wonders of orichalcum or the stone discs? What have you done with the stone? Calm down. They're right behind you in the captain's strongbox. Oh, there was I.
Gee, if only we had some way of getting through an impenetrable metal box.
Whoa, the acid's eating right through the metal. Here are the stone discs. There's a small key in here, too.
And yet you can listen in on them
Halcyon bombs?
talking about some of the things they'll be able to create, like robot slaves, orichalcum bombs. You get a couple of shout-outs to some
Perpetual motion?
classic scientific principles like perpetual motion,
Incredible.
and some old serial type stuff. My favorite one being, they mentioned cold light, which was a means of making things invisible that was used in the old Rocky Jones serials that got shown on Mystery Science Theater 3000. But we can now use the key on the rudder control.
Now it's unlocked.
And with that, we now have complete control of the sub. Now this one does control the direction and basically how close you are to the front of the screen. This controls the motion. This controls depth. And you can actually stop the motion completely in order to line yourself up once you find the airlock. Thankfully, there's a pretty big margin of error, so you don't have to be too far off. And yeah, we're sailing in front of it here. And this actually reverses the engine, so we can back ourselves in. And you go too far to the left or the right, it will...
The rudder's locked. The rudder's locked. The rudder's locked. The rudder...
Right, you have to stop motion before you can do that. And yeah, this is where it gets annoying, because I tried playing through this twice to test it, and one time I was on the very back part over here, and that one was all but impossible to get to, because every time I tried
the rudder's locked.
Turning...
The rudder's locked. The rudder's locked. Okay, so now I'm behind it. Will that get me close enough?
Okay, that's too far forward. So let's try and back it up that way. And there we go.
Amazing. We're hundreds of feet below sea level, yet there's enough air pressure to keep the water out. How's it possible?
Welcome to Atlantis, Indy.
And yeah, because it's dark, we can't actually see anything, so we have to touch
It's a hose.
everything.
Sophia?
What?
Do you think we really found Atlantis?
I guess so. I just didn't think it would be so dark.
Sophia?
What?
Nothing, just wanted to make sure you're okay.
That's sweet of you, Jones. I'm right here.
For the moment,
Sophia?
What?
What do we do now?
Let's find a door before I get any more muck and goo on me.
why am I dripping with goo? And we can start to see things coming out in the blackness the longer we stay here.
It feels like a ladder. It's a ladder.
Get your hands off me, Jones. Jones? Hey, you're not Jones. Help, Indy! Indy!
Sophia?
Alone again, naturally.
The ladder is in place. It feels like a stone box. It's open. It's a metal rod with an opening on one end. Sophia, where are you? Kerner must have grabbed her somehow.
Even more impressively, he somehow managed to get through the big stone door without the discs.
It's a stone box. Looks like some sort of tunnel collapsed here.
And we can look at everything else, but that's pretty much all that is left apart from the metal slab.
It's a heavy bronze door. It's a statue.
Now, you think we know what to do from here, right? Except one thing you might have forgotten from the lost dialogue. Final entrance yielded only to contrary minds. Which means that we have to take the normal approach we've used on the stones so far and reverse them. The tricky part is that if you start off doing that, you wind up reversing the reversal if you do it literally. So we'll start off with the morning light not on the tall horns. And then from there, it's supposed to be full moon on darkness, which means we want new moon on darkness. And it's supposed to be the western sea on the noon sun, if I remember, so we'll go with EC.
That didn't seem to do anything.
Probably because I misremembered it, so let's see. Yep, glorious sun blazing alone upon the western sea. So change that to eastern sea, I think. But yeah, darkest night, full moon. Which means, yeah, full moon should be opposite that in eastern sea, opposite the full sun.
That didn't seem to do anything. That didn't seem to do anything. That didn't seem to do anything.
Okay, so I clearly need to reverse my reversal. So, full moon over darkness, and sun still on the western sea.
The mouth of the statue opened.
Yeah, it's only the first stone you reverse, not the second one.
It's a statue, and its mouth is open.
And so the way to Atlantis is opened. But we're not going to explore it just yet, because I did promise I would show how to do the wits and the fist paths of this game before we got to the final third, which is exploring Atlantis. And it's at this point that you get total freedom to choose whichever path you want. If you want to do the puzzles, if you want to punch things, or if you want to free Sophia and try and work with her a little bit. So we will go ahead and close this chapter out here, and next time, I think we will indulge my need for petty violence and start off on the fist path. We'll see you then.